Hey, how you guys doing? You like the hair, the stash? I look like your dad. So today I want to talk about the Dungeon Master's Guide. So I love being a DM. It's one of my favorite aspects. I like the interactivity with my players. I enjoy creating the worlds, the problems. I like that creativity sense, and I love that they enjoy what I do, and so that makes me happy. Now, a big tool a lot of people use in reference to is the DMG. And you know what? This is a great reference, especially for people who are new to DMing or have no idea where to start, but also for experienced DMs. There's a lot of things you might need to refresh yourself on, or maybe just some inspiration. I mean, that's why we buy supplementary books, for inspiration. For example, in this thing, like I'll have this book, right? And I will sometimes I just open to a random page, okay, and I read through like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So random urban encounters, bullies for one, or you find a corpse. Just like kind of random things to make your town more interesting. And if you want to just make stuff happen off the cuff, it's great for that. I don't know what's going on. What's could be interesting in my town? DMG. Well, it's great to look forth for inspiration and to figure out what you want to do or how you want to build your campaign and how to just be a good DM in general. It doesn't have everything, but it has really all the tools you will need, if I'm being completely honest. You know, there's some things you can't teach and some things you can't read about, you know, like having good interaction with players, being confident, making a good story. You can have like criticisms, you can pick up on those criticisms, but really until you try and start working through your head how you want to make us a good story. Not everyone's going to be a good storyteller, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, not everyone's going to be good at everything. I'm not good at water polo. So I might make a series just going through the DMG and just kind of breaking it down. If you're a new DM, come on in, have a seat, buddy. You know, we're going to have a good time. If you're an experienced DM, have a seat, because you and I, we're going to get some experience, we're going to get some ideas, because that's what makes the game so good. Even if you have your entire game figured out, if you have your own module set for you, it's good to sprinkle stuff in. It's good to have stuff in between, and there's surprise your players. There's nothing. It's great to do that. Do that with your modules. Do it. So let's talk about the first part. All right, I'm gonna crack this open. For the first part, I'm gonna talk about gods. Now, gods are a big part of D&D. For example, like, you know, you have your Corellin, the elven god. You might have the great Bahamut. You have all these gods you can work from and take from. Cord is also the god of strength and storms. That's part of this. But you can make your own gods and have your own alignment. And the cool thing is, this makes it very loose, like a very loose structure. You can structure the base entirely out of the book, or you can make your own structure using the same gods. You can do whatever you want. That's the magic of it. Now, having a god, there's a lot of things that come with having gods. Number one, you have to acknowledge there's a god. There's an all-powerful being that has great control over your characters' lives or over the land or whatever. Future editing doof here, I forgot a detail that is really good to keep in mind. Having familiar gods makes it a lot easier for players to remember and just know, oh, Bahamut, I know exactly who that is. They don't have to do a ton of research. What they have known is already done. That's a good benefit to have, where it's just already established. Whether obviously on the other side of the coin, if you create your own gods, and you're going to have to teach them your pantheon and all that good stuff. Two, you have to figure out how people want to interact with that god. Prayer, sacrifice, maybe the god has its chosen few. Do prayers matter for the god? Do believers matter to the god? All these are things you want to keep in question. Does your god even care? Where are your gods? So we're gonna talk about some of that stuff here. Now, I like the idea of monotheism, and I like that idea because there's only one god, and one god really gives out powers. And maybe the other religions too of course they can exist. Maybe this god feels pity and gives them powers, or maybe just because of the thought that, hey, these people mean to do good, I'm gonna bless them too with my might. You can have stuff like that happen. Monotheism can work just fine. You can have all sorts of gods. You can have, and what that means is, like, you can have like a god of like water, god of, you know, thunder, god of knowledge, stuff like that, and that's awesome to have. But how do you interact with these guys? What does that mean to interact with those kind of characters? Let's say you have a god of water, right? You're a follower of a god of water. What does that mean? Well, does your god care about you? Now, let's say in this example, yes, you have a cleric who is devout, who cares so much about this god of water. I'm actually going to borrow the God of Water from Theros, which is another book I should talk about at some point, and I probably will. Thassa is the goddess of water. I'm not talking about the piety system, which is also in the Theros book, but just let's talk about Thassa. All right, Thassa adores you. You are her sweet follower, and so you're in the ocean, and a storm kicks up. Your boat's rocking back and forth. Maybe your DM's like, you know what? Thassa sees you, her great follower, and the sea's calm. I never see this happen, but it's really cool when you have some divine intervention like that. I don't know why that's not more of a thing. You can't, because, okay, I don't understand why. Because it becomes a Deus Ex Machina, I guess. Like, oh, well, your God says no. And that's annoying, that's stupid. But there are times, like I described, where it makes sense, and it's, oh, wow. And people begin to perceive your character in a more respected way. This guy talked to the god Thassa. We're alive because of him. And it adds a lot of character, adds a bit more coolness to your character. You know what I'm saying? You know, I work with the gods. Don't be afraid of gods to interact with their character in small ways. Nothing crazy like they were slaughtered. But then they're running from the dead. Whoa! You can't do that. That's awful. That's stupid. Nobody wants to do that. You can make deals with their gods. Why not? Why not have your gods have more interaction with their characters? It's okay to do that. Doing this also has the great benefit of making your gods more than just a cliff note. It makes the world feel more alive, like your gods are watching and they matter. So why they don't intervene all the time? Perhaps for one, they have a code. It's their destiny. And once in a while they'll intervene and that's okay. But if you're fighting a creature, well, that's up to you. And they want you to live by your own skill set. They don't want to intervene with you all the time. Otherwise, what are you doing then? You're not a champion if they have to rescue you all the time. And if you die, well, you're just immortal. You die. But they still have a code of ethics. There you go. And that's just one of many reasons why they don't intervene all the time. You have Thurisdun, the god of madness. The god of madness. He wants you crazy, right? Well, you have a character who's a follower who's always a little crazy. You know, he's like extreme conspiracy theorist. But here's the thing. Pure madness is not that interesting. It doesn't really get you far. But madness with truth inside of it, now that's something interesting. You know, like, let's say there's some guy in the corner of the street, mad, just mumbling to himself. So he starts mumbling about something, and you're sitting there not thinking about anything, but you're trying to do a task that would benefit this god, the god of Thurisdun. And so he decides to put a little bit of little thought in this guy's head, and this guy begins mumbling about this artifact. Wait a minute, this is the artifact you're looking for. What? And he starts talking about, oh, it could possibly be here, under the moon, under the stairs, under the stars. It's all the same in the darkness of the night sky. And you're thinking, what? And he starts spouting off clues in his madness as Thurisdun is giving you what you need to know. Insanity. And it makes for a good puzzle, too. Now, honestly, I don't know why there would be a god of madness. That doesn't really make any sense. I guess that's what makes it mad. So besides gods and stuff, let's talk about the religious organizations, right? So these religious organizations can have multiple kind of layers to them. You have your followers, you have your acolytes, you have your priests, you have your bishops, you have your whole... I can't think of the word right now. I want to say bureaucracy, but I have a feeling that's not the right one. Anyway, you have your layers and your steps. And the higher up you go, the more you're revealed. The more quests are given, the more items are given, the more blessings you can get. And you can even have mystery cults. Here's a secret sect of this thing. And maybe they have a story like, see, the priests don't want you to know, but that's not really the God they're making you tasks for. It's for them. We serve the real God. And he has tasked us to put a stop to this. So you have these mystery cults, these people work within the church, hidden. And that too could be for a really interesting campaign, really interesting adventure, interesting anything. Secret organizations, especially religious ones, are fascinating. Think about it in real life. You get the Freemasons, the Illuminati, Scientology. Yeah, while I can think of them as stupid, they still have an air of mystery, and you're kind of curious, like, what's going on in there? What's going on in there? And the gods themselves can have ranks. Even the DMG even talks about greater deities. So if you think of this as like Greek mythology, you got Zeus, you got Hades, you got Poseidon, you got, they're all there as greater gods. Then you can have lesser gods. Like, I believe like Hera is a lesser god, but just smaller gods. It says here, lesser gods are embodied somewhere in the planes. Some lesser deities live in the material plane, as does the unicorn goddess Luru of the Forgotten Realms, and the titanic shark god Sekola, revered by the Sahagins. Others live on the outer planes, as Lolth does in the abyss. Such deities can be encountered by mortals. That's kind of cool. Gods walking amongst us. Or they can still be in the outer planes. They're just lesser known. And then you have the quasi-deities, which this is broken down into like the three kinds of quasi-deities. And quasi-deities, they have divine origin, but they don't hear or answer prayers. They don't grant spells. They're just kind of divine things. But you know what? I think it'd be interesting if they can have them grant spells, stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. Or little blessings and stuff like that. Maybe nothing too crazy, but it'd be kind of cool though. Wouldn't it? Like, who are you?
I'm Todd. I'm the god of sperm, and I'm a lesbian.
So you have your demigods, which are mortal and immortal coming together to do the and have children, which become the demigods. You have titans, which are made by the deities, which is also pretty cool too. I'm thinking of Hercules every time. Like, I really like that. The ice one was really cool. I thought that was really cool. Sucked as a boss in Kingdom Hearts, though. He wasn't really good. And vestiges, the forgotten gods. The gods that aren't reached out to. The gods that people don't even think about. The ones that are quote-unquote dead. These can be the vengeful ones. These can be these are the gods you can have a lot of good stories coming out of. Because it's not like they're weak or anything. They're still incredibly powerful. They're just tucked away and forgotten about to rot. Even though they really can't rot because, they're immortal, So in this book, though, it does have something really stupid in the DMG. So let's say this. Okay, I'm going to read a part out of the monotheism. If these religions have clerics with spellcasting ability, their spells might be powered by the one true deity. By lesser spirits who aren't deities, including powerful aberrations, celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, titans, vestiges, or they can be powered simply by their faith. So, this is why I think this is stupid. So you're telling me you can get magical powers because you believe in something that doesn't exist. Because if you're not believing in the one true God, or the only God they have in the game, and you believe in the goldfish god Kange, if you believe in Kange, you have healing word now. You have divine smite because you just think he's real. But you really believe he's real. That's so stupid, man. I think that's just part of madness. I think if anything, you could have arcane magic, like be a sorcerer, but you think it's divine, but it's not. See, that could be a really fun twist. I'm gonna have track. Like, if you have a player who wants to do that, you can do it. I'm not gonna stop you. Who am I to stop you? I know it's manifesting. I believe in $1 million. I believe in $1 million. Anyway, that concludes my video about gods from the DMG. If you like this video, like and subscribe, please, because I really want to make more of these, and these are fun to make, and I like giving my ideas, and I like hearing ideas back. It's really good. Leave a comment about your ideas. Do you have a really cool god concept you came up with? Let me know. I want to hear about it. Until next time.